says Daryl Dixon season 2 can't ignore the 3-year-old zombie outbreak mystery season 1 forgot about. What do you think about that headline, Colt?
That's like a pretty good headline. Like it's pretty crazy how it started like 3 years and then Rick, vanished after that 3-year span.
Oh yeah. I hope we do get like an origin story. That would be really neat for the virus. I mean, I know Robert Kirkman. I don't know if you know this or not, but Kirkman, he's the guy who created The Walking Dead. He was asked one time and he said it was like a spore from a asteroid or something. I may have that wrong. Have you heard that, Colt?
I have not heard that.
I think that's what I read. Of course, I read a ton of stuff about a ton of shows, so I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, guys, somebody let me know in the comments. I know you will. Do you want to read some of this, Colt, or do you want me to start? Or
you can start.
Okay. At some point, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon season 2 will need to address the outbreak mystery, which remains one of the franchise's biggest loose ends. Though shows like Fear the Walking Dead have depicted the early days of the zombie apocalypse in the Walking Dead timeline, key questions continue to swirl around how it really started. Over the years, shows in the Walking Dead universe have danced around the situation, with Daryl's new adventure in France marking that what may be the franchise's easiest path to clearing it up. See, I this isn't like 100% confirmed. This is just what this reporter who wrote the article thinks. So I want to say that before we get into it. So what do you think about that, Colt?
Yeah, I think that's going to be like a really cool like start maybe to the season 2.
Yeah, so I kind of picture it being like something that was created in a lab, maybe like some kind of like biological warfare. When you think about The Walking Dead, how do you think it started?
I think it started like with somebody trying to like create maybe like some sort of military weaponized thing, but then it broke out and and just spiraled backwards.
So we're kind of thinking in the same way. Hey guys, if you're watching this part of the video, let us know what you think happened. How do you think it started? I'm going to go on down a little bit more to Daryl Dixon season 2 can't ignore the zombies outbreak connection to France. So what do you think about that?
I think that's pretty crazy. I would never thought it was France that ever started. I would have thought maybe, with the show, stating, first stating in the US, that maybe it would have been the US that created it instead of France.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, that's what I would think too, because, the show really takes place in the United States until we got to Daryl Dixon, and how, it would have had to have been transported for it to be in France and be in the United States, because it's not like the zombies are going to, or the walkers are going to swim across the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like maybe they were transported either by boat or, plane. It would have been one of those, obviously, but, either that or maybe it was airborne. Maybe at the first start, maybe it was airborne, and it was, like, how in season 4 we saw how everybody was getting sick and was dying of that airborne virus or whatever that was going around.
That is a really good point. I didn't think about that. Good job. You think should I read this part of the article here?
Yeah, you can do it.
While the series has yet to delve into the setting of the series, the setting of the series makes one crucial fact hard to forget. France is where the outbreak first began. This detail stems from the World Beyond Season 2 finale's closing scene, which used a cameo from Dr. Jenner to drop this big reveal. I remember that. Did you see that?
I did not see the World Beyond. I don't know. I just could never get into it, I guess.
Well, I'll admit it was kind of hard for me to watch too, because I wanted something with Rick at that time. I was still kind of angry about how, like, I know they warned us and they told us that it was going to happen, but I was still pretty mad that Rick was gone, and I was mad that Carl was gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was more mad about Carl being gone than even Rick, just because Carl was the whole reason why The Walking Dead had even started in the first place, because, after Rick got out of the hospital, he was looking for his son, and then he found his son in the 3rd episode of season 1. And then after that, it was kind of just like them surviving, like, the show was supposed to be. And then it kind of turned into them fighting people rather than zombies until the whole thing with Alpha and all them began, which
Yeah.
was right after Carl had passed away and the thing with the Saviors had went on.
Yeah, I was just so angry whenever they killed Carl off. But yeah, I mean, so if it started in France, it had to get to the United States. So they have to answer that question. If they're gonna talk about that it started in France, then they have to tell us how it got to the United States.
Yeah, I think they should tell us like how long before the first person in America got infected or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and
kind of like COVID.
Yeah, I agree. I want see. I'm a lore junkie, so I want to know how everything happened. Okay, so now we have Daryl Dixon season 2's villain can explain its outbreak mistress, and that's a good point. I could really see that. That's where it needs to come from because someone has to know these things.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see if we'll see like another villain other than other than her. If we'll find out if she was truly a part of the CRM or if she just knew them.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel like there has to be some kind of connection between Madame Janae. Is that her name?
Yeah, that's her name. And Madame Jeanette or something.
Yeah, I think there has to be some connection between her and the CRM. Or, I mean, we know that there was a connection from what they talk. I know you didn't see it, but in the world beyond, we see do you remember Dr. Jenner?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we see a scene in the very last scene of World Beyond. Dr. Jenner is back, and it's before everything happened, and he's talking to someone. I don't know what you would call the France's CDC, but he's talking to someone there, and they say something like it started, or and it makes you think that it's some kind of experiment. I can't remember everything that's said because it's been so long, and that was not my favorite show in the Walking Dead universe.
And I wonder if she was part of the reason of why it actually had all started, whether it was actually, some other scientist that started, or if she was a part of, the people that started it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, because she definitely knows about doing the variant, making the variant walkers that are not natural. Because I think in the show, I think you have variant walkers who are manufactured like what Madame Janae does. But I also think that you have natural variants that kind of like grow or mutate. And I think that's, because what we see with Madame Janae in season 1 of Daryl Dixon is very different than what we saw in the end of the main show, The Walking Dead, with the zombies climbing things or the walkers climbing things.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird how we first saw the first kind of variant walker, I think season 1, episode 1, or maybe even episode 2, I can't remember for sure. With Morgan's wife twisting the doorknob.
That's right. And
then it wasn't until later that they didn't even show it again about any variant walkers till way farther in the future.
But when you think about it, what was the episode? Was it Tell It to the Frogs, where we see Rick and he's in the downstairs of the big building, and one of the walkers tries to break the glass with a rock?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like where he and Andrea are in the downstairs. It seems like there's a walker that tries to break the glass with the door with a rock, and then later we see that where when Daryl has taken Judith to the after Judith got shot, and the walkers are breaking in. Don't we see a walker trying to break a window with something? I don't remember if it was a rock or not.
Yeah, I think it was a rock.
Yeah,
and then we saw a walker trying to climb up a car. And that was one of my TikTok videos I made about that too.
Oh, really? Tell me about it.
So I just seen the thing, the video from from watching the show and stuff. And I figured that would kind of be a cool thing to put in because that was the first time we had seen a variant walker in a long time in the show. Apart from when earlier in the show, one was trying to hit Jerry with a rock behind him when he climbed up.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
Side of that thing or whatever it was. It was like that building or whatever. And so I just saw that part, and Deegan was like, "What the heck?" And like looking at that, and I had put Rick from The Ones Who Live in it, kind of like seeing if it was him, like acting like it was him instead of the walker that was going up that.
I'll have to go back and check it. Guys, you need to check that out.